All right, some injury updates, Miles. And same old story with the Chargers. They look good on paper, but the game isn't played on paper, and they get out on the field and they start getting injured. J.C. Jackson, one of the big free agent acquisitions this year for the team via the Patriots, he's expected to miss 2 to 4 weeks after ankle surgery. They have the Raiders week 1, then the short turnaround Thursday night, national streaming debut, Amazon. Will he be back for those games? Who knows? He had a non-invasive procedure to correct something he was born with. So I didn't know there was a non-invasive surgery. I don't know what that means. I don't know how you have surgery that's non-invasive. But regardless, he's out 2 to 4 weeks. And hey, Chargers, great defense if they can keep their 11 best players on the field for an extended period of time, something they haven't been able to do.
Yeah, well, I'll have to ask my doctor mom what a non-invasive surgery is. Maybe she knows better than I ever would. But yeah, I mean, look, you said it. The Chargers can never seem to stay healthy. And that was the one thing that when they got all of these guys, I'm thinking, man, like they look good on paper. This should be good. But, you don't know if Joey Bosa is going to stay healthy. You don't know if Derwin James is going to stay healthy. You don't know if Khalil Mack is going to stay healthy after he had the foot issue last year. And now J.C. Jackson, who has not necessarily had like an injury history, he's going under the knife, I guess, maybe, but maybe not if it's a non-invasive surgery, whatever it's happening. Like he may miss 2 to 4 weeks. And if you're going against guys like Devontae Adams in week 1, you need your top corner in J.C. Jackson in order to help stop that guy. All right, you're going against Patrick Mahomes in week 2. I know that they don't have Tyreek Hill anymore, but you still want your top corner to help you defeat one of your biggest rivals in the division. So this is a significant injury, and it's a significant concern, I guess I should say, when you're talking about starting the season for the Chargers, and they obviously want to get off to a good start.
Yeah, and they could be, easily 0-2, even though they may be better than they were last year. It's going to be a couple of tough games out of the gates. The Ravens have, and we're now at the point where, and the rules tweak a little bit every year, the rosters moved to 80 as of yesterday, and as part of this reduction from 85 to 80, guys who are on the active, physically unable to perform list could be moved to the reserve. And this year, it means 4 weeks out to start the season before the window opens to return to practice and eventually to return to games. Gus Edwards, who tore his ACL during a practice last September, is on the reserve PUP list, so he'll miss at least the first 4 games, along with Chase Young, the Commanders' defensive end, who tore an ACL last year. Ron Rivera, the coach of the team, had been leading us to believe that he wasn't going to be ready to go week 1, and now we know he will at least miss the first 4 weeks. And it doesn't mean he's definitely going to be back week 5, week 6, week 7. All we know is both Edwards and Young out the first 4 weeks, and plenty of other guys. We've got the posts at PFT, whether it's Jamison Williams on the NFI list. He has the torn ACL that he's recovering from. Guys with these lingering injuries, now we're at the point where you can shift them off the roster and put them on where it's either reserve NFI or reserve PUP, and we know we won't see them until October at the earliest.
Yeah, I like that it's gone from 6 weeks to 4 because it does kind of give you that better flexibility with the roster. And they've made a lot of changes in the last few years when it comes to, getting guys back from injury. And obviously the injured reserve now, you only have to be on there for 3 weeks before you're eligible to return. And I think that helps a lot when it comes to the roster flexibility and making sure that you have guys that are on the field, that can be on the field, and you're not just like having to deactivate guys just because they're going to be gone for 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, right? I like that they're making things more flexible in all those situations.
During the 2 COVID seasons, it was unlimited injured reserve, and now it's restricted again. And it's one of those things where the numbers change all the time, so I never remember them specifically. I have to look them up. But there's a much lower number of guys you can put on injured reserve and then bring back. Geez. I mean, it used to be, if you were on IR, you were done no matter what. They didn't want teams to play these roster games where they were stashing guys like Belichick would surely do. Not that I'm saying you did anything wrong. You just take full advantage of the rules. And the past 2 years, they've ignored that concern that guys may get stashed because they just wanted to have maximum roster flexibility with the COVID rules. So they have continued to trend toward greater flexibility, but it is a restriction this year in IR because we don't have the COVID stuff, other than somebody who says, hey, I don't feel well, they test him and he's positive and he's gone for 5 days. That's the only COVID protocol for 2022. Finally, and this one is ominous because, as MDS pointed out in our PFT text thread yesterday, no one ever emerges from a meeting with Dr. James Andrews not getting surgery. Kayvon Thibodeau, after taking that low hit on a legal block, but subjectively possibly not a clean block from Thaddeus Moss, son of Randy Moss, supposedly fine, sprained MCL, only going to miss 3 or 4 weeks. Second opinion from Dr. Andrews. So I don't know if, look, usually the second opinion means that the player doesn't agree with what the team has said. So I don't know what the player thinking, I could be back quicker? Is he thinking, this doesn't feel right? I know I kind of fought through it. I said no to the card. I walked through the locker room afterward. I was kind of in denial. It's a human reaction, but I'm really not feeling right. Maybe there is something more in there. Either way, we're going to find out, and it could be more than 3 or 4 weeks for Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to hear Dr. Andrews and you're talking about a knee injury and think that, oh gosh, like this is not going to be something serious. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, I think when you're talking about second opinion and Dr. Andrews, like that, your mind doesn't immediately go to, oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah, he'll be back sooner than we thought. That's not the first reaction. The reaction is this may be worse than initially believed, and that could be bad news for the Giants and for their top 10 pick, who they expected and hoped would come in and make an impact this year. Let's take a break. We're going to do a draft of the most impressive rookies we've seen so far through 2 weeks of the preseason. We'll do that next on this Wednesday edition of PFT Live.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.